President Trump's former national security advisor, Mike Waltz, was grilled on Capitol Hill today over his role in the Signal group chat, where officials inadvertently disclosed sensitive military details about a strike in Yemen to a reporter. Waltz was facing a confirmation hearing for his nomination to be the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, and he fielded questions about the administration's foreign policy as well as his plans if confirmed for the role. But this was also the first time lawmakers were able to publicly question Waltz about that Signal incident, which led to his ouster as national security advisor back in May. And Waltz defended his use of the messaging app.
Was any disciplinary action taken?
From the White House Investigation Center?
Yes.
No, the use of Signal was not only authorized, it's still authorized and highly recommended.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now from Capitol Hill. And Nikole, this was a tough day on Capitol Hill for him, but are there any clear obstacles for Waltz's nomination?
Well, that remains to be seen. Obviously, the Signalgate controversy, it did dominate some of the discussion during this hearing, although the broader hearing was focused on Mike Waltz's nomination to become the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. He was also joined by other nominees for other positions. But look, Democrats certainly were dissatisfied by his answers. They didn't think that he nor the White House took enough accountability for what happened, particularly since no one was really disciplined for that. Yes, Mike Waltz left his post as national security advisor, but only to be nominated to this position. So Democrats left pretty dissatisfied. But that being said, the Senate is controlled by Republicans, so obviously the chances are favorable that eventually Mike Waltz's nomination could clear the committee. But again, we'll have to see how things advance.
And Nikole, turning now to potential cuts, Senate Republicans are facing a decision over whether to restore funding for public broadcasters, of course, including NPR and PBS. Now, you spoke with the CEO who oversees those institutions. What did she say about what those cuts would mean?
Yeah, well, just to be clear, we did speak with the president and CEO of NPR, Catherine Mayer, and she basically warned that these cuts would particularly impact some of NPR's rural stations, whether that is getting their news and information from these stations, and also these emergency alerts. So that is her concern. She says many of these stations who get a substantial amount of funding for their annual budgets through the Corporation for Public Broadcasting could be impacted and would likely have to make some pretty tough decisions about whether or not they could keep their doors open. Take a listen to more of our conversation.
What's at stake here? I think that what is at stake is something that is really important to the soul of the nation and who we are as Americans. It is public media has been around not just since the Public Broadcasting Act of more than 50 years ago. In some places, these stations have been around for more than 100 years. They are embedded in their communities. They speak with the voices and regional diversity of our nation. They allow us a place to come together as Americans and hear from one another in ways that we wouldn't otherwise.
She did point out that as far as national programming, that is unlikely to be impacted in a significant way if these cuts are to go through. But again, with respect to some of those local stations, certainly a lot of concern remains. That being said, we know that late today there are some changes being made to this rescissions package. Senator Mike Rounds now says that he will likely support the package because some of his concerns around protecting funding, particularly for stations in tribal areas, is something that appears to be nearing some type of agreement. So getting that type of assistance and potential carve out apparently seems to be winning his vote, at least for now. Russ Vought, the budget director of the White House, said he continues to work with senators on their concerns, specifically with regard to many of those smaller, more rural tribal stations.
Plenty more to come on all this. Nikole Killion, thank you.